So normally we have outtakes and bloopers in the beginning of our videos, but these next few weeks are a little more important to us. So we want to encourage you and remind you to make sure you exercise your right and go vote. This next project is screens for the windows. We didn't see a lot out there on a method for this, so we're going to try to walk you through a way that seems to make sense, and we're gonna cross our fingers that it functions correctly. I will start with the supplies that we are going to use. We went to Home Depot and they have screen that actually comes in a kit. So it comes with the spline that you'll need to put it into the frame, and then it also comes with the roller tool, which I'll show you once we get it opened up here. They also have, I believe there's 7-foot sticks of just a long piece of what is going to be the frame of the screen. Obviously we need a utility knife. I got some extra razor blades. These are frame corners for the screens. And then these will be what we actually use to install the screens to the outside of the bus. These screens hypothetically should be able to stay on at all times. Hypothetically. So, and then also, of course, tape measure. First thing we're gonna do is measure the window openings. Our bus has 2 different size windows. We have a larger window and a smaller window. The screens that we are making will not work for our emergency windows, just because, again, like I said, they will stay permanently attached, and of course the emergency windows open outwards and that would tear out a screen. So what you do is you need to measure the height and the width of your window. And then once you have those measurements, and I recommend that you write them down, you need to take off 3/4 of an inch, which is for your corners. So ours are 3/4 inch. I think they're all standard, but I would double check before you go cutting. So we're going to take off 3/4 inch on each side. So 3/4 inch on the right side of the top, 3/4 inch on the left side of the top, etc., etc. Okay, in case that was kind of confusing, let me try to explain it with a visual. So you're going to take your measurements of the exterior of your window, width and height, and from that measurement, you're going to subtract 3/4 inch from each side, so a total of 1.5 inches. That 3/4 inch is because of your corner that holds your frame together. This is 3/4 of an inch. And these slide into the framing. And there's your additional 3/4. So again, you'll take your measurement, reduce it by a total of 1.5 inches, and each of your corners that are 3/4 inch will compensate for that additional distance. I hope that makes a little bit more sense. Took my measurements and went ahead and marked my lines for where I'm going to cut. And you can use a hacksaw, but I am lazy and I am going to use the angle grinder with a cutoff wheel because it will go faster. So much easier. All right, so working on my frames. Tim would have done this much better, but I'm gonna fix it. We have all of our pieces measured and cut. We are making a total of 4 windows today. We'll have 3 small and 1 large. So right now I'm going to go ahead and just put the frames together to do a test fit before I go through putting all of the screen in, just in case. Fun fact, I am dyslexic, and I said to Tim while I was cutting, after I cussed, that I knew I had a dyslexic moment, but I went and looked at what I wrote down at my workstation. So these are our specific measurements. This one in particular, I knew I messed up on, but I had the right measurement written down. So 23 1/4. However, I did 23 3/4. So thankfully I screwed it up where it could be fixed, and I have too much, so I can cut off 1/2 inch and correct it. But those of you who also may have dyslexia, you totally get me. Numbers suck. All right. So now that got our measurements correct, fits right in. So it slides in there, and you can see it sits right on the ledge of the window. So everything has an edge to sit on. As I said before, we got our screen and it came as a kit. So it included spline, which looks good, and then also the roller, which is definitely a little cheap, but we'll see how it works. Something I forgot to mention that you will need are some punches. And probably just get away with one. You've got to make sure we're going to punch the corners of the frames, the aluminum, into the corners so that it has a good grip, and then we'll also most likely use this to tuck in the little final pieces of spline if it's needed. So you will need a punch and a hammer. All right, I'm going to go ahead and trade out blades here, because my old one was chipped. So I want to have a nice sharp blade. That one was broken. This will cut the spline, and also we're going to cut the screen to fit. So after you make sure your frames will fit in your windows, then you can use your punch to put the corners in place for good. Essentially that just bends the aluminum into that corner piece of plastic that we saw earlier, and it will keep it from moving in and out. So you're gonna roll out enough screen to cover your frame and obviously give you some extra because you're gonna have to roll the spline in and then cut the edges. Next is the spline. We are going to cut a little extra than we need for each side. I'm only gonna do it one at a time right now, just for demonstration purposes. Try to make sure your screen is somewhat straight. Thankfully, the little squares are like a grid, so you'll get it as straight as possible. Start in the middle, take your tool, and it goes into the groove. All right, first one is in good, and as cheap as this thing is and feels, gets the job done. So at the ends, I'm going to carefully cut off the excess. And this is where the punch comes back. You take it to the end. And you just push it in there. The tool doesn't really get into the corners. And you're gonna repeat as you do the other sides. Try to keep your screen pulled tightly, not too tight, or it's gonna start bubbling. But it's really simple, you'll get the feel for it. So you're just gonna fill in the remaining 3 sides with the spline and repeat for as many screens as you're making. Once the spline is all in, it's time to trim your screen. You simply take your utility knife and cut along the inside edge. Using the spline as your guide, just run your blade along the exterior metal frame. Just make sure to be mindful that you don't cut the interior of your screen. I totally just cut the screen. All right, finished product. We hope you found this video helpful. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and click the bell for notifications of new videos.